Welcome to Daddies the podcast. I'm Eric.
And I'm Greg.
And this week we have a very special guest, Mr. William Hung. William, thank you for coming on to the show today.
Hey everybody, I'm excited.
Yeah. We are very excited to have you here. I've been looking forward since I think we started conversing last week. And so this is we are very, very happy to have you here. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Yeah. William, would you mind telling us a little bit about kind of what you do now?
Yeah, sure. I still do the performing and speaking. I'm very active on an app called Cameo. I would make birthday, graduation, or motivation videos to help people become a bit happier, bring some smiles. I started my new job working for the sheriff's department as a senior statistical analyst. So yeah, I do a little bit of everything.
Wow. Okay.
That's some range for sure.
Yeah, that is some range. That's awesome.
I love what you said, that you bring happiness, like joy to people, because like I said, I was very excited. We were very excited to speak to you. And anytime I told somebody, oh, guess what we're talking to, William Hung, every single person smiled and said that's amazing because everybody remembers you so fondly.
Yeah. So I'm interested in Cameo. So I see a lot of people using the Cameo platform now. And so essentially, like, I could just go on and say, hey, William, like, I want you to wish my daughter happy birthday or whatever. And then the artist or performer just creates like a customized video to cater to that person. Is that how it works? Okay. All right. And then, I see like a lot of people doing that now. And that's cool because I feel like 15 years ago, that wasn't something no one had the luxury of that. You would have to either know the person or know someone who knew the person to get something like that. So that is cool that you're doing that. Yeah. No, I think that's a really cool, that is a cool platform.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you about American Idol. What was this? It was about 20 years ago, right? Was this 2004 that this happened originally?
Wow. So it was 20 years ago.
That's funny. What was your reaction originally to your own performance and then the judges' reactions?
Well, I wanted to stay positive no matter what. That was my plan all along. I knew that Simon Cowell in particular was going to be the mean guy. I watched some auditions beforehand, so so I was ready for it.
Sure.
And so, like, when you walked into the audition, like, is it so on TV? We see the individual; they just walk in. But is there like a lot of like, all right, this is kind of how it's going to be, or you legitimately just walk in, you do your thing, and then the three of them just kind of like you didn't really get to have any interaction with them until you did the audition, right?
Not true. If you go on my YouTube channel, William Hung Official, I shared the extended audition because that looks more like a real audition. They would ask you questions like why you want to audition. What will happen? What will other people say after you sing? They ask you quite a lot of questions.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Because I don't think any of those three judges are on the show anymore. I think that they've all moved on to other things. But I just always remember it was Simon was always like the tough guy, and then
that's what he was good for. I honestly think he made that show. You had to have somebody like him to do that. It was you want to see him mad. It's kind of like Gordon Ramsay for a cooking show. You want to see Gordon Ramsay curse somebody out and just like, not make them cry. Well, it's something interesting. My mom she's such a sweet woman. She doesn't like that. So she'll watch like the British baking show because they're so friendly and nice and understanding. And they'll go, listen, your loaf of sourdough just wasn't amazing this time. I'm so sorry. Where, otherwise in the American version of the show, they just get ripped to shreds and cry.
Right.
So, it's what people like, I guess.
So I do have to ask. I've heard, and you might not remember, but I heard Ryan Seacrest has really soft hands. Is that true? Is that something?
I'm not so sure about that. He still gave me a very firm handshake the last time I saw him.
Did he?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I mean, I know Ryan Seacrest is also like, he has his hands in pretty much everything anymore. I mean, his name pops up. So good for him. But I did have to ask because I don't know if I will ever get to talk to somebody who actually interacted with him.
Shook Ryan Seacrest's hands.
So yeah. So after your audition, what were some of your biggest challenges that you faced after? I know you released some albums after that, but what were some of the challenges?
I think one of the biggest challenges is how some of the critics and the media decided to make a big. I don't know how to put this. It's like they almost make a different narrative than what I want it to be. So I at the time the way I felt about my auditions, I wanted to try something new. I was struggling with school. Even if it doesn't work out, it's okay. I can move on to other ventures. It's all right. But some sections of the media and sometimes the Asian community, it's not okay. So they make a big deal of it, and then they say like, oh, William Han portrays the biggest Asian stereotypes. You set people back. The Asians back. It's like, what is this?
Wow. Yeah, right.
It's a shame because it seems absolutely like you're there to, have fun and,
It's the opposite.
Right.
exactly like you said, try something new. That's a shame. How did you handle that criticism? Did you have a certain mindset that you had to go into, or what? How did you do it?
Well, there's only so much you can do. I focus on my fans. I focus on bringing joy to my fans. And then when I handle that question over and over again, I would say that I cannot please everybody. But no, after so many years, I have empathy. I understand where they're coming from, but I still don't agree with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know there's been I'm a great big Star Wars fan, and who's the actor that played Jar Jar Binks? Who his name escapes me, but I know he went through kind of something similar where people berated him and they hated the actual actor for something that he had played in a thing. And I guess if you put yourself in the limelight, there's a chance that you can have that happen to you. It's just a shame when it happens, though, because it's not warranted.
People coming in and like wanting to do something new, and then they see like negativity in the media, and because I feel like too, I don't want to be that person, but there is a lot of negativity. Like whenever you turn the news on or you scroll through TikTok or Instagram, you do see, especially if you go to the comment sections, like the comment sections of anything, I feel like there's a lot of just not positive things in there.
Yeah. That's what people enjoy to see and read, is things that make them fired up, right? That's what gets people. It's the thing that they can be passionate about.
Encouraging other people to go do.
It's unfortunate.
So after the audition aired, and I'm pretty sure you were talked about in a lot of households. How did your life change after that?
Well, I got a record contract. I get to travel and perform all over the world. It was a miracle.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's kind of funny, but you got exactly what an American Idol would get from it, even though, like they voted, they voted you off. They said that you didn't pass through, but you got probably more than what the actual winner of that. Who was the winner of that season?
Fantasia.
Yeah.
Okay. And I feel like, I mean, and especially too, I mean, I don't know how many, there have been a lot of American Idol seasons now, and I couldn't tell you every winner from every season, but you're a name that, you know, everyone remembers. Everyone knows who you are, at least a lot of people. So okay, so American Idol, and you get your record deals, and you're doing albums. But what kind of like personal or professional growth have you really experienced since then?
Well, I learned a lot about myself, my core values, what I want in life. I also got better about how to say no, because saying no is saying yes to yourself. You know, you cannot. There's only so much you can do in your life.
I like that. I like
Yeah, I
that a
feel like
lot.
that's huge, being able to say no. And I feel like sometimes people struggle with, you know, they want to, I want to make sure I please everyone. I don't want to offend or hurt feelings or whatever. So I'm just going to say yes to everything. But then I get burnt out, you know? And so that's really cool to be able to, you know, develop that skill.
How William? How did the record deal go? What was that? What was that whole process like?
Well, they gave me a $25,000 advance for the first album. Yeah,
Okay.
Great.
I earned some money, and then the second and third album, it didn't do so well. So it's very realistic. It is okay, you know. Everybody, the journey is different. I was fortunate that the Inspiration, the first album, became the number one independent album. It's like, whoa, how did that happen?
Wow.
Well, and you always hear too, like with like record deals, just how like involved and stressful, and like you're kind of like at the like, is it true, like, hey, this is what we need from you, or did you kind of have like free reign in that regard? Like you could kind of, I want this to sound like this, or was there someone there like, hey, I'm expecting this out of you?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it like,
of course.
yep,
It's more like they have certain expectations. Yeah.
yeah. And you always hear that too. And then you see, I've noticed now a lot of artists who are going like independent. Like, I'm going to just do it myself then and not have to. But then I feel like when you do that, you lose that funding that, you know, these bigger labels have to supply you for those advances and for things that you need. It's not like it's cheap to make an album or, you know, and you still have to live. Like, so, you know, you still need to survive.
Yeah, it's less like you're getting a paycheck when you work for the record label, and more like you're your own boss. But if you don't make any money, you don't have any money to continue the project.
Right.
You're an entrepreneur at that point.
Well, and I feel like too, like, I don't know how like Apple Music and like royalties work, but I'm sure like your albums are on, like people can still listen to them, like they can still stream them now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's cool too, you know, 20 plus years later to kind of go back. And if you want to listen to that, like you have the ability to do that.
Yeah,
I know
cool.
the Christmas album that you put out, was that 04?
Yeah, it's around that time.
Yeah. I know I was talking to my wife, and her dad loved that
Ooh.
album. He loved it. He still has it and still plays it. Like you're definitely still very relevant in a lot of homes.
William, any chance for a 20th anniversary Christmas album?
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, I mean,
Like
I think now it would need to be like crowdfunded from bands. Yeah, otherwise it'd be kind of difficult.
Sure,
But
sure.
I think it would. I think you could absolutely kick that off. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I think,
Well, and if it's crowdfunded, then obviously the demand is there. So,
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what if a crowdfund doesn't, like, I guess, fulfill, like, you meet the request, it just doesn't go through, right? I'm assuming that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think that's a high priority right now in my life.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's already hung for the holidays.
That's fair.
already, yeah.
Sure.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
Especially like too, I know you're very busy. You have a career, so that makes sense. So what about current projects? I know you had your book was released in 2019.
19, right?
2018?
19, something like that.
2018, 19. Okay. So, would you mind just telling us a little bit about that? I was reading up on it since we started talking, but if you wouldn't mind just kind of telling us a little bit about that.
Sure. The book, the name is called Champion by Choice. It is an
Okay.
autobiography, for everything that happened, from beginning of my life up to that point, 2018, 2019. That particular year was very special because I got to finally perform Ricky Martin in person in Las Vegas.
That's
That's
awesome.
amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
How was it? I mean, obviously he must have been you know, an inspiration for you, or
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
a favorite artist at
yeah,
least.
for sure. He's definitely my favorite artist. He's so genuine, so down to earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like that's always nice too when the people that like I think you're awesome, you're a great musician, and then like when they're actually a nice person behind that, then it's like, oh, well, then this just really, reaffirms everything because there's nothing worse than you looking up to someone and then they're just like the worst person in the world and they're just mean and it's like, wow, that's really
Yeah, it's fortunate if
discouraging
you can
to
meet
me.
your hero and them actually be a good person. Because I think there's a
Yeah, yeah.
warning, you know, hey, don't meet your hero, because the chance of them, you know, then no longer becoming your hero would be terrible. But
Right.
that's fantastic that you had that experience.
Yeah.
That's great.
And so like how is that process like writing a book? Is it like a very long like does it I'm sure it takes a lot of time to get that rolling and to actually see it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a natural writer. Even though I have a lot that I want to say, I want to share with the world. That's the
Sure.
main reason I wrote that book. It's because I
Yep.
cannot cover everything in any one interview or one video. So
Sure.
but it's still difficult. Even though I thought I had the content, I still needed to get help from the ghostwriter, and then
Sure.
finally I was able to push through.
Oh my God,
And so
I would be exactly the same. Here we go. I'm going to write some things about my life into Chat GPT and just let it do the whole thing for me. Please write an autobiography. Here's what happened in my life. I would have to do this that exactly.
yeah, I always like whenever I see people when their autobiographies come out or hey, I wrote a book. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it at all. So what about like today? Like, how would you define success for yourself today and for just people listening?
Well, success is waking up every day feeling that happiness, or joy inside you. You feel excited to wake up, to look forward to whatever that may be. It's a combination of the mindset versus choosing a job or career or business. That it's no perfect job or business. Every one of them has this pros and cons. There'll be days where you don't want to do it, right? That's reality.
Oh yeah.
But at least you don't hate it. You like it. You're naturally curious that you want to get better at it. So I think that's a good place to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I think just being able to kind of show up and just
Yeah.
kind of like that alone is sometimes difficult. Just getting out of bed.
I've met and talked to a lot of people that have in their, like, not even in their later life, but once you get past I don't know, what did you say, your mid 20s, maybe your late 20s, people start prioritizing their happiness more than they prioritize, you know, actually making money. Now, some people, not everybody, but I mean, you know, you hear the thing, it's like, oh, the successful lawyer or businessman wasted his whole life and he wasn't able to spend any of the time with his family, and you know, they're miserable always.
Well,
So
and you hear a lot of times like people on their deathbed, you're 80, 90 years old. And the thing that you regret most is, I don't care about the money. I can't take that with me, is missing out on, all those family gatherings and spending time with like people I love and my friends and money doesn't matter when you're gone. It's the moments that we're here, I feel like is really important. So I think that's huge.
Think about the life that you want to create, and then think about who you have to become to get there. Like many people wish that they're filthy rich, they don't have to work anymore. I'm not there yet. Even though I'm financially stable, you know, I took care of my own mess. That's the first. That's really the first step. It's and everybody's journey is different. You know, I don't have leaks. I finally got out of gambling addiction. I'm married, right? Like I got a stable job, and I still can do the entertainment on the side. I'm in good shape. You know, I can get to where I want to be. But you know, again, going back to who I have to become, it's like, you know, maybe I have to think about, oh, I need to be content with my life, you know, that live within my means, right? Don't go crazy. You can still enjoy, you can still have good food, you can still travel, do whatever you want to do, but live within your means. Don't go buy the most expensive car, for example.
That's fair. Yeah, that's very fair.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that do that.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Well, because in theory, like it sounds super easy too. It's like, all right, don't spend more than you earn. But then when you get like that credit card with 0% interest with that $17,000 limit, and you're spending someone else's money, you know, essentially, then I feel like, yeah, just kind of making sure that you're being responsible.
Yeah.
Is
Someone told me they saw somebody living above their means, and they said, "You got a filet mignon taste on a ramen noodle budget."
and that's fair.
And that doesn't work out so well.
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, William, thank you so much. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. We appreciate you taking the time. You didn't have to, you know, meet with us, so we appreciate it. We've been looking forward to this all week, so
yes.
we definitely thank you for coming on and kind of sharing your life experience and life experiences with us. That it means a lot. I'm Greg.
And I'm Eric.
And we are the Daddies. Thank you for listening.